Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Art of Inspired Selling. I just got off technical support to try to see if we can get my camera working, but I am Catherine Nunez, and I am the host of the Art of Inspired Selling. If this is your first time viewing the show, welcome. Welcome to the show. This show came about when the pandemic hit, and I wanted to know what I could do to give back to my community, people that might be stuck, people that might not know what to do. And it's now turned into I interview successful 6 and 7 business owners that are thriving in today's environment, and they're bringing some of their tips, tricks, hacks, their subject matter expertise. They're bringing that to my show so that they can help you, the solopreneur, the business owner, become the best version of yourself. And one of the things that I feel most strongly in is a personal brand. A personal brand stands the test of time. A personal brand is what I built before I left corporate. And that personal brand is what has helped me carry over to become a speaker, a mentor, workshops, podcast guest, on screen talent, whatever it is. That is a result of showing up consistently online, letting people know what I stand for, letting people know what I stand against, and consistently talking about the same topics over and over and over again: personal branding, sales, and marketing. So today, my next guest is Stephanie Wynn, and I'm going to pull over her bio, and she is going to talk on my favorite subject, which is personal branding. So Stephanie is the founder of Stephanie A. Wynn Business Solutions, a branding and marketing business development company for aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners. She hosts the 5-star podcast, Let's Talk with Stephanie, and creator of the I've Started My Business Now What workshop series. Stephanie facilitates webinars and workshops for aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners. Stephanie has a long desire to help purpose driven women, entrepreneurs, and community leaders, which inspired her to write her groundbreaking book, Ready, Set, Go, a simple guide to establishing a successful small business. She is eager to share all she has learned over the years about business ownership and hopes to inspire others to follow their dream. So, I'm going to close this down and I'm going to bring my next guest on. If you guys see me disappear, it's because I'm talking and my image isn't showing up and it's annoying. So, Stephanie, I'm bringing you on. Welcome to the Art of Inspired Selling. How are you today?
Welcome, 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 Catherine. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in sunny Florida, where the
Oh,
sun always
nice.
shines.
Look how it's so annoying. So, what city in Florida?
I'm in the Tampa Bay area, and we're located on like the Gulf of Mexico. When you look at the state of Florida, the little belly on the state of Florida, that's the Tampa Bay area. So that's where I am.
I'm very familiar with Florida. I was there for 13 years.
Okay,
My oldest son Sebastian was born in South Miami Hospital, and
okay,
so I love Florida.
yeah,
I don't love the humidity.
okay.
I was a sales representative, lots and lots of road time up and down the turnpike, all over the state, all over the Caribbean. It was fun.
Yeah.
So, as a part of coming on the Art of Inspired Selling, first of all, you guys, please take action in the chat. I didn't set up my other tech, but I will as Stephanie starts her presentation. I'll interact with you in the chat. Let us know in the chat where you're coming from. If we're not responding to you, maybe you didn't enable Restream to be able to access your profile, but I'll go to some of the other places. So we're streaming live today on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, 3 Facebook pages.
Wow.
Did you and Stephanie enabled her social media profiles as well, so we are streaming all over the place today. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, hello from the UK Facebook user. I can't see who you are, but hello, nice to see you here. So tell us, Stephanie,
Mhm.
how long have you been an entrepreneur?
So my entrepreneurship journey started when I was the age of 23, many, many, many years ago.
I
Um,
find that hard to believe.
Many, many years ago, I started my very first business, and it was an ice cream shop. I was in corporate America. I was married with two children, like really small children. And that's where my entrepreneurship journey began. And that's what prompted me to co-write my book, Ready, Set, Go, A Simple Guide to Establishing a Successful Small Business. And it was there where I had a passion for, starting a business, but there was no point of reference back then for women owned business owners. Like the resources was like minimal. And
Mhm.
it on media. We didn't have social media back then, so it was manual marketing, and I just had a passion for providing a service and a product to my community that was affordable. So my entrepreneurship journey started when I was 23, and it's just been a passion of mine.
That's awesome.
Right.
So, as an entrepreneur, are there certain people that you follow? Are there books that you've read that have really changed the course of your business? Give me a little bit of insight into your inspiration and some of the mentors that have inspired you.
So I'm a firm believer of reading. I'm an avid reader. I read 2 to 3 books per month. One of them is, I believe in self help. But what
Hmm.
I learned is that a lot of times you read a lot of self help books, and you have to go and get this other book and then get this other book. But one of the books that I really love to read is John Maxwell. John Maxwell has a lot of leadership books, and specifically Developing the Leader Within. That book really helps you look at leadership from a different angle. So I read a lot of his books. Um, One of the businesses that I follow is Chris Doe of the Future.
For me
Um,
too. That's
yeah,
interesting.
he's amazing, amazing, amazing. I believe that if you want to be great, you have to find um, someone who's doing it 10x, like 10x more than you are in your industry. So definitely. So those right now, I'm really on to John C. Maxwell. Again, like I said, I'm an avid reader. My mentor that I have is Cheryl Pillow Williamson, Dr. Cheryl Pillow Williamson, who has a lot of motivational and inspirational books. So for affirmations, because I do believe in the power of affirmations. We have to, as entrepreneurs, you have to um, believe in yourself, one, but more importantly, it's more than just believing in yourself. You have to hear it, you have to see it, your vision every day. So I do believe in the power of affirmations.
Me
Yep.
too. I'm dropping Chris's YouTube channel here
Okay.
because I love listening to that. When I have my sleepless nights, I'm
Yes.
such a geek. I
Yes.
watch his videos or I listen to him. I
Yes.
love it, and I think I'd love to go be a guest. I think he has some because I'm in California. I can go up and be in his audience.
Mhm.
So I love that. What is your favorite affirmation or mantra that you're using right now?
So my affirmation that I use every day is that I believe in me.
Nice.
I believe in me.
Nice. Mine, which I got from a business coach, is my success is inevitable, and I'm
Mhm.
open to how it unfolds. So that's one that I use a lot. All right, so let's get into it, you guys. You're here to learn more about personal branding.
Mhm.
Stephanie has a beautiful slide deck that we're going to share. My video and my mouth are matched. So that's a really good thing right now. But please, you guys, Facebook users, LinkedIn users, wherever you are, please drop your questions as Stephanie gets into her slides. We're going to talk about affirmations today as well, right?
That's
A
correct.
little. Okay. So take it away. I'm here. I'm your Vanna. Whatever you need, I will engage with you and ask some questions, and then I will also get all the other channels up for people that might have questions.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Catherine, for allowing me to be here. As she stated, we're talking about, the personal brand, why you need one. And why I want to talk about this topic is because we have so many things that we see on social media, whether you have a 9 to 5, you're in a career, or you have a business. And the personal brand is so important because, as Catherine stated, when you're in corporate America, you have to fulfill a position. And so when you're fulfilling a position, you need to create a brand, because let's say if you want to start, you want to apply for a job, right? But maybe that job is going to require something from you, and maybe they don't know that you have a certain skill set. You will definitely need to put yourself in a position to apply for this job. So having a personal brand now is more vital than it was before. So I'm super excited about this opportunity to present the personal brand and why you need one. So today I'm going to talk about 4 reasons why you need a personal brand. The reason why you need a personal brand is it's so vital. I can't say it enough. Having a personal brand, if nobody knows that you exist, as whether you are in a career or you have a business, nobody knows to invest or even buy into what it is that you're selling. So today I'm going to talk about 4 reasons why you need a personal brand, and we're going to get right into this.
Let's go.
A little bit about me, as Catherine stated, asked earlier. I started my very first business at the age of 23, and I was the youngest woman of color to open an ice cream shop here in my local city. It was very hard, specifically getting in media. It was very expensive, to say the least, to get on media. So we had to do a lot of manual marketing. I was a 9-to-5er. I was in corporate America, working a 9-to-5, and I needed to build this business, build this brand. So again, I started at the age of 23, and what prompted me to write my first book or co-write my first book was this ice cream shop, because I didn't have the resources, and I knew that, having this business was going to require me to do more research, right? Research in this industry. So as I wrote the book, Ready, Set, Go, A Simple Guide to Establishing a Successful Small Business, I decided to conduct a nationwide book tour. And so from there, I knew that I had to get out and build this brand. Now, I had a publisher who helped me with publishing my very first edition of the book, but they didn't specify that I needed to create a brand. Having a business is one thing, but building a brand is something totally different. And although back in the early 90s, they really wasn't talking about having a brand now as they are now. It's so much, it's a buzzword now. But that really helped me to help purpose-driven entrepreneurs get clarity on their ideal customers and build their business brand by providing business development strategies that generate revenue.
So I'm going to ask a question real quick, and I'm behind again. But how long did it take you to write your first book?
It took me about 6 months, because again, I was working a 9-to-5. I was still in corporate America. I worked in the financial services industry. I had over 20 plus years in the financial services industry. So I wrote my book over the summer of 2016. And during that time, as I was writing my book, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So again, I was dealing with the corporate job. I was diagnosed with this chronic illness. And then I still had obligations to the publishing house.
Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Okay, number 1, improves your ability to communicate with others. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So when you're building your personal brand, it's more than just, your face. It's or the logos, right? When you're building your brand, it allows you to improve the way you communicate with your audience, right? Mm-hmm. So having a personal brand, whether you're in the corporate, and I want to talk about the career and break it down, career versus business. When you're in the corporate arena, for those who are tuning in, you still have to have an ideal audience. Like, who is your audience? If you're going for particular jobs, you still have to build this personal brand. and you have to improve the way in which you communicate with these organizations. A lot of times applicants can't get past the application process. Number one, they don't have a brand, they're not clear on what it is that they're doing, and they're just not ready for the interview, right? So being prepared, and having the ability to communicate with others before you get to, maybe you're applying for the job, before you get to the application part, you want to make sure that you are clear on your ideal audience. Who are the people, whether it's personal or business, who are the people that you want to communicate with and get your brand in front of, right? So that is key. Number one, that's key to anything that you do when you're building your personal brand, is just knowing who your audience is.
So when you say audience, so I only work with B2B entrepreneurs, but let's say I want to interview. I have clients that are still in corporate. I guess I should say I don't only work with B2B, but your audience would be maybe they want to be a vice president of sales. So their audience would be the people that would make that happen, correct? Within the organizations.
Right.
And so the first step is to understand who that is, but then let's go, I guess, does slide 2 tell us how we're going to interact with them once we've figured out who they are?
Well, yeah. So once you find out who you are, and we can just, so once you find out the audience that you want, you have to ask yourself, like, you have to consider, how are you going to communicate with them? How are you going to communicate with them? So let's go to number 2. With having a personal brand and why you need one, it will help you understand your values and beliefs. So as you can see, like, your values and beliefs is your integrity, your honesty, is how you're showing up for your personal brand, right? It's your, and doing it simplistically, like you're being authentic to this particular audience of people. So maybe if you're going to be the vice president of sales, you still have to get to know these people, right? And you have to do it in a way that aligns with your values and your beliefs.
Yes.
Right. So, and to build, again, like I said, to build this personal brand, you have to ask yourself, okay, what is my belief system? What is it that I need to do? What are my values? Right. Again, getting clarity on that. Like I said, it's all in accountability, integrity, honesty, being creative, right? So when you're building your personal brand, it's all, maybe it's your style. I'll give you an example. Me, for an example, I've branded myself with my haircut, my hair. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's creative. I've branded myself with my haircut. I'm natural. I have a natural hairstyle. So when people see me, they'll never forget me, because they know, oh, that's the lady with the natural hairstyle. So again, it's all in just, that's, you're building your brand that way. So some people wear, what is it? Gucci or Louis Vuitton. They're known for their style, their fashion, right? So it's all in about getting creative with who you are. But more importantly, I want to say, Catherine, is with building your personal brand, you just got to be true to yourself and be authentic, right? Because if not, what happens is you brand somebody else, the other people will brand you, right? If you're not true to your values.
Absolutely.
And number 3, having a personal brand and why you need one, it aids in you achieving your objectives. Like, what is the objective for you building this personal brand? Is it to, obtain new employment? Is a new position, a higher position, to get paid more, make more money? Like, what are the objectives in you achieving this personal brand? Like, you have to know this. Like, these are questions that I want you to ask yourself. Like, what is the objective with me building this personal brand, and what are my goals for building this personal brand? So, even if you're in corporate or in a business, like, there's still competition out here. So you have to understand who your competitors are, how they're showing up, what it is they're doing. Are they consistent? Right? Consistency is key when you're building a brand.
It sure is. Showing up on camera for a live show, even if you don't feel like it.
Even, even
I always feel like being on camera. No, yes, okay.
yes, and even with technical, like we had, you had a
Yes.
little technical difficulties, but it didn't stop you. You continue to go on. So again, the last tip I want to leave is why your for your personal brand and why you need one is it also enhances your visual image. You know that saying like you show up, your image is everything. How are you showing up? Do they know you for being, witty or creative, or do they know you by being professional in business? Right? Does your audience know that about you? These are important things. I know they may be simplistic, but these are important things to think about because it doesn't matter what industry you're in, regardless of the industry, your image is vital. It's important. You're showing up for your audience is very crucial that you enhance how you want your audience to perceive you and receive you, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and
How do you ask when you work with people? I have my what I suggest people to do, but do you have an exercise for those people that might not understand how they're showing up? Do you have an exercise that you can recommend to people to find that out?
right. So I asked them because most people ask you, well, how are you showing? How most people say, well, I want get more clients. I don't have the time, right? I don't have time. I'm
I don't
time
have time
poor.
to get more clients, but I need more money.
I need more money, right? And so my question to them is, okay, let me ask you this. If you don't have the time for you don't have your capacity, you're at capacity with time, how are you going to have time for these clients? Can you service them, right? But I asked 3 questions, like what's stopping you from getting these clients? One, and how is that the case? Like why do you feel that this very thing is keeping you from getting more clients, generate more revenue, right? So usually when I do research, I can tell what the problem is. They're not showing up. You don't have and you can tell me something else, but by research tells everything. You have the data, you can tell how people are showing up for their brand. So if you're not showing up for the brand, how are you going to show up for your client if you don't have the time? Right?
That's interesting.
So I think your personal brand, your message has to be clear. When we're talking about even your image, you have to be clear on your brand message. So here are some confidence building affirmations that I want to leave, the audience with. Number 1, I invest in myself and my business every day. And what do I mean by that? This is something that you must do. And these are two of the things that you must invest in, and that's effort, meaning you have to be determined, and time. Those are the 2 things that you must invest every day, whether it's your business, whether it's your corporate job. Invest in myself. How are you investing in yourself, right? Number 2, I am the expert in my industry. You want to be the expert. You want to be the expert in your industry, and you have to believe that you are the expert. See, one of the things that I noticed with building confidence is it's self-esteem. We don't believe that we can do this very thing, right? And I am confident in my value, skills, and abilities. I am confident in my value, skills, and ability. I am confident in my ability to create wealth. And lastly, I am the brand. You are the brand.
You hear that accent? And and you have no idea who you're dealing with.
You are the
You got to
brand.
get the swagger in there because they have no idea.
You are the brand. I am the brand. And you have to say it with confidence. Because if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect your job? How do you expect your business to believe enough in you to buy into what you're selling?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. Now, I did talk about in the beginning that you need to figure out your ideal customer. Even if you're looking for a job, you're out here looking for a job, you're just building your personal brand. You have to know the community of people that you want to communicate with, right? We talked about that in number one. So, do you know your ideal customer? And that may mean, do you know the ideal organization that you're looking for? If you're a speaker, you want to go speak. Who is your ideal audience for that? Um, Again, you have to understand that first before you start building this personal brand. And a lot of times I think we get frustrated. Specifically, let's talk about the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs get frustrated when the buzz die down. There's no more sales, or the sales have, plateaued. It's because maybe you're not clear on who your ideal customer is in the beginning. Like you know, there's no strategy in place. There's no understanding of who the people are you're serving. So again, this is an ebook that I want to offer to the audience, where you can find your ideal customer. You have to know the ins and out. And in this ebook, I talk about, what do they look like? Is it women? Is it men? Maybe you are a author teacher. You teach children. Maybe you're author and you have a children's book. Maybe your audience are students. Maybe it's special needs students, or maybe you have a book that's a self-help book, or not even a book. Maybe you have a course that you want to get out in front of a particular audience that will help them solve a problem. They won't know that they have a problem. You have the solution to their problem unless you get clear on who the audience is. So again, all I'm simply saying is that you got to get clear. We can build a personal brand, but the number one thing is getting clear on who your ideal customer is.
So we have a question, and I'll show that here. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for these tips. Would you cultivate different images for different audiences or products? For example, a more formal one
Mhm.
and a more casual one. They could both be you.
So let's break that down. So yeah, you could, but it depends on how are you wanting to communicate with your audience, right? Is it a more professional audience that you're communicating with? Your brand, remember, your personal brand is how, you can live this brand outside of your business, right? When I'm out in the stores and people recognize who I am, they know who I am. Oh my gosh, you're the author. I know you wrote the business self-help book. Okay. So they know me, right? But when you're wanting to, you have to keep in mind, how they actually, do you have two personalities? Well, like Beyonce, and then she turns into Sasha Fierce when she gets on stage. How do you want to have your brand, represent your brand? Do you want to have two images, like two avatars, or one? It's up to you. You can definitely do that. You can cultivate different images, but again, what I did notice in a meeting I attended was there were people in the room. They were here to see a speaker, right? And this speaker changed her hair often. And this lady was saying, I'm just excited to see the headliner. But the headliner was right next to her. And because she changed different images, her hair, her avatars, right? Nobody really knew who she was when she was in a different hairstyle. So again, you got to get clear on how do you want these people to perceive you and receive your brand. Okay. So just
And
go ahead.
I'll comment on that too. So I think as Stephanie said, as she said, we're going to break this down. I'm like, wait, she's reading my mind.
Mhm,
So understanding the audience that you're speaking to,
mhm,
um, there could be a fine balance. If you're going to speak at a wellness retreat where people are in yoga pants and they're
mhm,
totally relaxed, um, you could choose to join them in that look. But what Stephanie's saying right now is, if your brand always shows up in the same dress all the time,
mhm,
then I think we're both suggesting you need to show up in a dress
Yeah.
to that yoga
Yeah.
conference,
Mhm.
because that's who you are. That's your
Mhm.
brand. Like, the whole tech industry got a little carried away with the black t-shirt and jeans. Well,
Right.
if you're in black t-shirt and jeans, then we might not even have to guess what you do. You're probably in tech, right? So it's making sure that you, number one, protect your visual brand, and then
Correct.
number two, understand your audience, and
Mhm.
then make sure that your dress doesn't your I mean, I've had past guests, you guys can go watch those shows about your visual brand, but also make sure that whatever you're doing makes you approachable. You don't want to be this stuffy, stiff person speaking in a tie or a tuxedo, unless that's really truly your brand, with a little bow tie. But you want to be dressed where you're approachable, where these people feel like they'll be able to speak to you. That's just my 2 cents.
Yes.
Any other questions, you guys? Were you going to say anything else about that comment? No. All right. Any other questions, you guys, that we want to bring in? So, oh, yeah, we have another question here. If I could scroll down, and she
Really
says, this person says, thanks. That's really helpful. Great.
awesome.
Happy to help. So, how do people work with you, Stephanie? Do they hire you as a coach, consultant? Do you work with people still that are employed? Who's your perfect avatar?
Well, my perfect avatar, I work primarily with authors who don't have a brand. One of the things that I learned with this journey with publishing my book, with having a publisher, is that it's a different ball game when you have a book. I think a lot of times authors, they specifically women authors, they have a book, they just don't have a brand, and when they're building, when they're promoting their book, and they've sold to their friends and family, then what do I do next? And so what I want to tell authors is that, your book it's a business, because you have to pay taxes on those royalty payments. So my avatar is purpose driven women who want to take their book, leverage that book, and turn it into a business
Tell
and
me,
generate more income.
tell me a little bit about what purpose driven means to you, because now here's my branding coming in. So a lot of people say that, right? And
Mhm.
so what does purpose driven mean to you?
So let's talk about purpose. Purpose is something that you're really passionate about. It's something that you can do freely with your eyes closed. If it's the one thing that when you close your eyes at night, you can do it in your sleep, right? You can, and without being coerced, or forced to do it, right? That is purpose, right? Now let's talk about driven. Let's talk about drive.
Mm-hmm.
Drive is the same as, and I say drive because drive is the same as putting effort and time. You have to have the drive. Drive, it has to be in you. Drive has to be in you. And sometimes what happens, Catherine, and I say purpose driven, is because when you're when you have this thing, specifically, let's say a book, and you
Mm-hmm.
believe in your book, you've put together this book, you've you bought, paid for the book to be published, but one thing that you don't have is um the other things that go behind it, right? And that is just knowing what to do next. And sometimes people, oh yeah, I want to do this, but they really don't. They don't have the drive. It looks good on social media, but when it's time to put the work in, they're not ready. And it's okay. So that when I say purpose driven, I mean women who are ready to put forth effort and time. They're passionate about they know what their purpose are. There's
Mm-hmm.
some people that don't quite know what their purpose is. And that's not because they don't know. And again, purpose isn't something that you're chasing after. Purpose is already in you. Your purpose is already within, right? So I think sometimes we get it a little bit confused that, oh, I'm chasing purpose, but your purpose is already within you. So when I say purpose driven women, is the women that are ready to take action.
Nice.
Mhm.
I follow a gentleman by the name of John Assaraf. I'm not sure if you know who he is. And he often says, you're either interested or you're committed.
Okay.
And so that would be also a clarification on driven. Now I'm interested in writing a book. I'm interested in doing this. But if you're committed,
Right.
you've burned your boat. You
Yes.
are all in. You
Yes.
are you are
You ready?
pulling off mold on the cheese
Yes.
versus throwing it away to go buy
Yes.
another one, right? You
Yes.
are in it, whatever it takes. You are
Yes.
in it to win
Hmm.
it. And I like to say, like, there's that fire in the belly. Like, if
Yes.
your purpose doesn't make you want to cry,
Yep.
and it doesn't make you feel so empowered,
Hmm.
you need to dig deeper.
And let me tell you, and I'll say this: when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, it was there that I realized what my purpose truly was. Like, it was there. And it's crazy that you find your purpose. Sometimes people find purpose during adversity, adverse times in their life. But like you said, it's that fire in your belly. It keeps you up at night. It keeps you going. You're continuing to go no matter what. And I'll say this: purpose is when you have technical difficulties and you still have to show up, and you don't give up. You don't let it distract you. You keep going. Purpose is when things could be falling around you, right? I think I went live this week and I said my kitchen sink fell in, and it was just remodeled within 8 months ago. But I continued to go forward because I still had to show up. There was somebody continuously depending on me. So
Yes.
purpose is there where you continue to go, and you're passionate about what it is you're doing.
And
So
you
you
hold yourself accountable as well.
yes.
um i I always show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always show up. I might slide in sideways a little bit late,
Mm-hmm.
but I always show up. So that's part of my brand. That's part of who I am. I will
Yes.
show up.
Mm-hmm.
Vacation, no
Yes.
vacation. If I said I was going to be somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I am there. I am there. I am waiting. I am dependable. So those are things you guys understand that these are all qualities and
Yes.
values that we're talking about that are related to your personal brand. What do you stand for? What do you
Yes.
stand against?
That's
What
right.
is that? And you just said that passion was already there. So
Yes.
maybe it's there, but you're just not quiet enough,
Yes.
or you're second guessing it.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody else, but they did it. But guess what, you guys? Nobody else has your own unique characteristics. Nobody has your experience.
Right.
Nobody has your spin. Nobody has your authentic voice. Is that right? I'm
Yes.
combining autistic and authentic together. But
I,
nobody else can be you. It's
right.
you.
Right.
It's you. Who cares
Correct.
if you stumble over your words or whatever
Mhm.
you're doing? You are going to shine when you
Yes.
lean into your true authentic self. And
Absolutely.
did you see Stephanie when she started talking and her face lit up and she
Yes.
got closer to the camera? That's passion,
Yes.
right? That's passion. She stepped
Yes.
into that person. So
Yes.
that's how you know when you found it. It just lights you up and people can't make you be quiet.
Yes. This is
That's
great, Catherine. This is
That's it. That's the art of inspired selling, and that's the art of inspired existence.
yes.
So, we're going to wrap the show. I want
Okay.
you guys to know we're staying on this subject of personal branding, and tomorrow I am conducting with my guest, Darlene Howley. On at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to carry the subject of personal branding over, and we're
Okay.
going to talk about storytelling,
Correct.
because storytelling is so important. You
Absolutely.
also heard Stephanie talk about her. I can tell her story now because it was so clear. Her
Yes.
ice cream store at 23. She lives in Tampa. She started her business because she didn't like the fact that she didn't have a brand, and that the other authors also don't have brands, and she wants to make sure that people don't go through that, and that they're successful and they find their passion. And
Right.
branding is all about it, right? I could tell her story because it was so clear, and she articulated it, and we both want that for you. So tomorrow, my next guest, in a workshop, we're going to workshop understanding and articulating your story and how that rate relates to your personal brand. So I invite you guys all. It's a Zoom link, so you won't have to chat. You can actually be live.
Okay.
And then if you missed it, the recording is held in my Facebook group called The Modern Sales Professional, which is for sales professionals and business owners,
Okay.
solopreneurs, whoever is, everybody sells, right? We all sell all the time. So please join us for that. And then next week, I'll be back 1 p.m. Pacific time. Always know, you guys, I'm here at 1 p.m. Pacific time, or something has happened.
Okay. Right.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
wrapping the
you all.
show. I've loved having you on, Stephanie. Stay here. You guys, we will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Message me if you don't have the link to the Zoom. We'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.